One of the most basic tools in SOLIDWORKS, indeed in any design or drawing software, is the selection tool. You have a mouse and you have a pointer. You point to something and click on it to select it as the target of some subsequent command or action. Seems pretty simple. But there are a number of variations, modifiers, and hotkeys available in SOLIDWORKS Selection to make tedious jobs much easier if you know these tools exist and how to use them. That's the whole idea of this 5-part series. Select exactly what you want, exactly when you want it, and do it quickly. From 2D sketches to massive assemblies, there are SOLIDWORKS selection tools and techniques that we can use to make our job much easier. Let's take a look at some of these tips and tricks right now. When working in SOLIDWORKS assemblies, there are a lot of cool things we can do to make selection of the components that we want easier and faster. First thing to remember, of course, is whatever you're inside of a command in SOLIDWORKS and you want to drop that command and get the selection tool, just hit the escape key and that'll take you there. Now, when working with assemblies, you're going to be clicking on, by default, just whatever you're hovering over, like in a part. So if I click on this face, I'm clicking on that face of that part. If I click on this edge, I'm clicking on the edge of that part. It's not exactly selecting the component level, as you can see with the breadcrumbs on the left-hand side, which we'll do in another video and talk about how you can use breadcrumbs. But for SOLIDWORKS in general, when you're just working around and clicking on things, and yeah, you can do control clicks as well, but again, it's going to be, edges and faces and things like that. So I actually prefer, if I'm going to go ahead and individually pick a number of components, what I'll do is I'll use the right to left crossing selection, and I'll just do a quick little cross like that, and I'll hold on the control key and select another item and select another item. And I kind of use that as my way to actually select the components, because in SOLIDWORKS, when you're doing an area select, like a box, whether you're doing everything inside or everything crossing, it is selecting at the component level. So I like to just do a little bit of a crossing select instead of a direct click on faces or edges. That way I know I'm getting the component selected that I want. Of course, typically people use, crossing select in a box like this for getting a bunch of items like that. And then, you can also go from left to right, or normal type of thing, to get everything that's inside of the box. I'm going to hold on my control key as I do this, so we can see that we've grabbed a number of different components very quickly here. Now, when I right click, I have a number of different items that I can use to act upon these components. I have the component menu itself, and one of those things is save selection. So I can make a selection set of components just like I can do a selection set of items inside of a part. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as a new selection set. Again, I'll go ahead and click on the white background to drop that selection. And then you can see here I have this selection set saved in my assembly, and give it a name. And I can then recall it anytime I want to. If I hover over something in my assembly and right click, I have some things I can do as well. So I can select subassembly, for example. If I select subassembly, now this box could use a little bit of a UI bump in my opinion here. It should automatically, in my opinion, size correctly here. But it's going to select the 3 subassembly levels I could choose from based on the face of the part that I right clicked on. So if I want to choose this level of subassembly, click on it. Now that level of subassembly is selected. I'm going to use the isolate command a couple times during this video here to kind of just drive home what we have selected. So that's that subassembly that we chose there. Other things I can do is I can use the selection tools to switch from box to lasso selection. So I can go ahead and do a lasso. Now, In assemblies, it doesn't matter which direction you go. So if I go starting and go clockwise like this, I'll get everything that's inside of that loop. If I do a counterclockwise start selection there, I'll still get only everything that's inside of that loop. So crossing select in assemblies is only for the box, not for the lasso. Now, as I select things again, one thing I can do is I can invert selection. So if I do that right here, it's going to select everything except for the part that I've right-clicked on, like so. And if I click in the background without anything being pre-selected, I have the same kind of pop-up menu for selection tools that we have in parts. So I can switch back to box if I want to here. I can also, if I like to, I can use selection filters. Now, one of the first things people ask me about is, where's the selection filter for components? There isn't one. That's a great enhancement that I know people have been asking for a while. I would encourage you to do that just to make it more consistent. But yeah, if you want to filter faces specifically, for example, you can certainly do that here if you'd like. I find that, again, I typically just use the crossing selection to make my component selections. I don't really use this much in assemblies. Now, one thing you will find that you can do in assemblies, just like in parts, if I'm zoomed in close here and I want to do a select other, you can go ahead and just click and you can find the select other option here. And it'll be presented. Again, we're not presenting with component level things, presented with clickable faces or edges. In this case, they're all faces. And go ahead and drill down behind there and select the component back behind there. Again, I'm really selecting the face of that component technically, but it will act as a component selection if I choose to do a component level operation on it. I hope you've learned some new aspect of SOLIDWORKS selection that'll help you in your next project. Make sure to watch all the other videos in this 5-part deep dive series on SOLIDWORKS selection tools and techniques, and feel free to like and share these on social media. As always, contact GSC for any questions, comments, or for more information. See you next time.